We all know that the World Soul Saga very much gives you Infinity Saga vibes, right? There's a lot of it that comes from Infinity Saga. So Pyromancer has a nice video here. What WoW's Infinity Stones can tell us about the Titans. Let's see what these Infinity Stones, what they are, and what they can tell us about these all-powerful and honestly corrupted Titans.
Hi YouTube, Editor J here. You're all looking absolutely gorgeous as usual. I'm hoping I can have your attention for a second, including you, Ryan. Actually tab over and pay attention. So we're getting closer and closer to the war within.
Yeah, we
and
are.
Most content creators are absolutely wild with the alpha spoilers. But we aren't most content creators.
Playable
and are
Tuskar,
trying
yeah,
something
still coming,
bold
I believe it.
and daring by actually not spoiling the story ahead of time and engaging with it naturally. Y'all have been absolutely wonderful by not mentioning spoilers in the comments thus far, and we would all really appreciate keeping that vibe going.
Oh, God.
We appreciate your patience.
I feel like because he said this, the entire comment section is going to be spoilers. Oh, shit. This community does this kind of shit.
matter. And now,
Hopefully not.
it's wackadoodle time.
What if Azeroth emerges and turns out to be like super evil? Then that's fucking lame and we've all wasted our time.
I can't
Why would
imagine
Azeroth
that.
emerge and turn out to be super evil? That's
Yeah,
such
that-
a lame-ass Disney movie twist, in my opinion, and that's no offense against you, but no.
Yeah,
the
I
whole
can't
concept of
imagine that.
Azeroth is the balance. Azeroth isn't good or evil. Azeroth is not to be defined by such things.
Yeah.
She is the source of all good and evil.
Yeah,
right?
she's very much defined as, that Star Wars-esque say, bringing balance to the Force, right? And what are the forces trying to do? Well, they're trying to unbalance it by bringing her to their side, right? You got the forces of the Titans and Arcane versus the Shadow and the Void, and they're all trying to pull Azeroth which way to unbalance things in their favor, basically.
It's like trying to say that, it's like, again, it's like the God thing. I think in your mind, you're trying to come up with like this reason for how Azeroth can be the fucking literal Antichrist. But what you
Yeah,
have to
I doubt
realize is that, again, the Antichrist is part of God, or part of Christ itself, right? In this way, I'm not a religious person for this religion, but I use it as an example because it's widely known that they're literally part of the same being. So I think you ought to get this out of your mind that there's this, that she's going to be this evil being, because she's beyond that. It's not even it's literally not about that. Evil and good are perspective and often defined by the side which holds disdain, a side which holds disdain for another. It's easy to label yourself as good in something that wants to do any harm
True.
to you as evil, naturally. But that's not really how it works. So, again, I don't think...
Also, good and evil are very much defined by the winner, right? Like the winners of the world wars and everything like that. I mean, they got to say that they were the good guys, right? The bad guys never win. It's always the good guys that win. Why is that? Because the winner calls themselves the good guys most of the time. So there's also that side of things.
Think that there's a risk of Azeroth waking up as some evil deity. I think that's the cheapest, laziest fucking ass pull story that you could do. I think what we should realize, or maybe not realize, that sounds the wrong way. What we should consider is that the Void Song is the negative alternative. Like, don't fall into this fucking trap where, like some people are, where they think the Radiant Song is deception. Like, Jesus Christ. Maybe I'm fucking wrong.
I don't think it is.
I don't think so, of course. Where the Void Song...
I don't think it's deception, but one thing I do find very weird is the whole thing about Magni talking to Azeroth this entire time, and now for some reason he can't hear the Radiant Song. It's trippy to me. Because either that means like he's been abandoned by Azeroth, or the creepier part is that he was never talking to Azeroth to begin with, and something else was whispering to him this entire time. That's a weird theory. But it's very odd that he doesn't hear the song, and so many people from Azeroth do now.
Is the bad alternative.
What up,
We're not gonna... If Azeroth awakens as she's meant to, then it's gonna be fine. But if we let the Void Song win, yeah, that's gonna be a problem. Yeah, that'll be a big problem. Pyro, do you think Aman'Thul works on behalf of a group from a different dimension? No, not really.
No, I don't think
I could
so
see
either.
him being an aspect, a deity of light, and in this way, he would almost be like an expression of Era Iluvatar, which is actually Azeroth. So in this way, time and the way that he keeps things I think he is an expression of Azeroth.
Well,
Again,
when he talks about a deity of light, because right, you think of Amenthul, you're like, oh, what are you talking about? He has to do with time. This doesn't make sense. Why is he saying light? There is a lot of theories out there that the use of light as we know it is really time manipulation. That's what it is, and that's why Amenthul, all of his magic is yellow, looks very light reminiscent, looks very much like light stuff, right? And so whenever someone's healing you, they're technically reversing time, and that's how they're healing you with the light and all that stuff. There are all those theories out there about Amenthul and time and everything else that has to do with that and light and how it's related. And those theories also say that the Hallowfall light, the flaming light, is the true light. That has nothing to do with time. That is actual light magic that we're going to find out about in the War Within.
they're all. I think they all are in their
Yeah, so
in different ways. And fuck, for all I know, this 6 people back here could all be parts of fucking Elune for all I know. They could all be aspects of that deity, and Sargeras the opposite. The 6 were one and the 7th the other in this way. The 6 were one, Elune, and the 7th the other, Sargeras. I know that those quotes are typically attributed to the cosmic forces, but these are fractals we're talking about, and so they're not to be attributed to only one thing. So, anyway, I could see Amenthul. I see the Titans again as like a spectrum of light. So it's kind of like this quote from Farim. Long have I scoffed at what I learned of Titans, or the Void Lords, or demons of the Nether. I held Death's pantheon in higher regard, but I know now that Death's pantheon is just as limited. Truth lies not in one direction or another, but at the intersection. The first ones had parceled out all their gifts, but they gave no child all of them. No wonder, and maybe that's not true, but that's kind of, no wonder these offspring bickered with such incessant jealousy. Their very nature was one of denial. And so, I pull up the Atamal Crystal. The Atamal Crystal was an artifact given to the Eridar of Argus by the Naru long before Velen's time. It was shattered into 7 shards during the flight of the Draenei. Oh, interesting, because I see 7 Titans on the Titan Pantheon as well.
Oh.
Also, look at the colors of all of these. If you can't tell, there's a violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. And in fact, when you learn about them, the shards, check this out. The brilliant star is the yellow shard. It calms the carrier's emotions, purifying them, allowing them clarity in their decisions.
Sounds like the light.
This especially affects casters, allowing a manipulation of arcane and elemental magics rarely paralleled elsewhere. One thing to know about the Brilliant Star, which is part of the Atamal Crystal, is that added in fucking Dragonflight, when the orcs disposed of it after their corruption, Kil'jaeden reclaimed the shard for the Burning Legion. Many seized it after the Demon Lord's death, and it eventually fell into the hands of Nalredun, who believed he could use it to commune with Sargeras. The Minari Arzalkal tracked it down and retrieved it with the aid of an adventurer before returning it to Velen. So this guy in Contrition, this guy Nalredun, thinks that you can use the Brilliant Star, yellow shard of the Atamal Crystal, which calms the carrier's emotions, purifying them and giving them clarity in their decisions, to speak with Sargeras.
That is weird.
That's fucking interesting.
Yeah.
In addition to that, we have other ones like Heart of Fury, which is the red shard, which, when possessed by an individual, accentuates their aggressiveness and strength.
Sure.
Interesting. Leaf Shadow.
Sounds very
green
Sargeras-y.
shard, possessing the power to cloak an area around it from vision. The Spirit Song, the Violet Shard, which opens the mind and spirit, which is Velen likens to having direct contact with the Naru whenever he used it. So, Eye of the Storm, Shield of the Naru, Fortune's Smile. What we're looking at, in my opinion, is we're seeing this Atamal Crystal break into 7 shards, each of which can be attributed to a Titan of the Titan Pantheon.
Yeah. That's
Honestly,
totally what it looks like.
Brilliant Star for
What up,
Sargeras,
Only
Leaf Shadow for Eonar, Heart of Fury. Honestly, you could even say Heart of Fury for Sargeras, but you could take that and you could say, okay, Heart of Fury with fire, we would say Khazgaroth.
Yeah.
Spirit Song, it's Violet, Mind and Spirit. Kind of makes me think Norganon, Eye of the Storm, Golganeth, Shield of the Naru, Agrimar, Fortune's Smile. Kind of thinking Amenthul. It's either the indigo or orange crystal. Regardless, the idea is that perhaps Azeroth and perhaps the cosmic forces are similar to the Atamal Crystal. where it is one whole crystal and it gets broken
Yeah.
into many
Infinity
different
stones.
fragments. And in this way, I think what we start to see is a prism where you have the light of creation, this pure white
That's
light.
right. Sylvanas, she mispronounced what she was saying. She wasn't saying life, this world is a prison. She was actually saying this world is a prism. And we just misunderstood her. She knew, man. Giga-brained. Look at that.
Being refracted through a pattern, a system that's been devised. And what this system does is it divides it into a spectrum. And this spectrum is what we're all on.
I did not pre-watch this, but somebody literally said the same fucking comment. What a giga-brain person.
But no, it's like I think what it's doing is it's taking the base creation and it's splitting into all of its aspects. Right? So it's like here, I don't know if you know this, but I was learning about diamonds because Magni's made of diamond.
True.
The king of diamonds has been made upon, and I was just reading about diamonds and how they work, and the reason why diamonds sparkle and shine so brilliantly is because they have multiple refractions within them. So you go from like one refraction,
right,
and then a second one, which even further intensifies and solidifies the color spectrum, and then again, and this is very layman's terms, I don't know if this is even the right way of saying it, but essentially it ends up giving you very clear spectrum of light.
Yeah. Because
so
each of the different wavelengths reflects at a different angle, so the more you reflect it, the more it separates them out because they're separating out by that angle every single time they're reflected. Yes. Science.
And so I wonder if Magni's connection with
Why are you mad at me?
with Diamond and being Diamond, I wonder if it implies something about, is he able to hear the individual voices that are attuned with different things on the spectrum?
Because he's separating them out?
Or is Magni really made of diamond?
Yeah.
You know, I just think that it's interesting to think about what that could imply about his connection. Maybe
Magni has a prism cock. Got it.
Maybe even a connection again with Azeroth, you know?
Got it.
Of him basically being a vessel through which Azeroth can basically funnel her light, and perhaps the refraction is his interpretation of her feelings and emotions and thoughts that are being given to him via light. But I'm concerned that not only would this light function in this way, because we also have the Titans, and we have Starlight, and we have stuff like that. So the fact that he's kind of blue is interesting to me, because Diamond is not blue.
No.
I mean, you can get... I typed blue, not diamond. I typed blue. Okay, because diamonds aren't blue. They can be, right? You can get like a blue diamond or like a red diamond or whatever. I don't know exactly what the difference there is, but they're supposed to be like mostly kind of clear and reflecting, like I said, refracting this light in different ways. And I guess I'm concerned that when Magni says, when he comes into Antorus the Burning Throne and says, I heard a familiar voice calling out to me from deep within Argus or some bullshit. I heard a familiar voice urging us forward. In the fact that it ends up being Eonar, and he says, oh, it's Eonar. Oh, I didn't. Okay, can he be? Like, you know, I just don't think, it almost seems like Magni was being spoken to by something that he thought. I mean, that sounded familiar, which would imply Azeroth, but then when you find out that it's Eonar, you're like,
yeah.
What?
See, again, another concern. It seems like he didn't know which voice he was talking to for a while. He just said, oh, it's a familiar voice. He thought maybe it was Azeroth, then it turned out to be Eonar. That means he's capable of hearing voices and not knowing technically where it's coming from, which means he may have not been talking to Azeroth this entire time. I'm not sure. But he clearly isn't talking to her now. There's going to be some shit that comes out about why this guy can't talk to Azeroth anymore, or why he's not hearing the song. I'm wondering, the Diamond King has been made a pawn. It's one of the most famous lines that we hear all the time from N'Zoth, and it sounds very true at this point.
Like, wait a second. Like, a colored diamond means it has an impurity in it. Colored diamonds contain interstitial impurities or structural defects. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he's defective.
That cause coloration. Pure diamonds are perfectly transparent and colorless. He's an impure diamond. Is he an orderly diamond? Is that why he's blue? Don't do this to me, bro. Don't do the blue order thing. He's got white eyes too. Oh no. Don't do this.
Either he's really onto something, or we are so far off the track that we forgot where the fuck we started from. One of the two.
That's interesting to think about, because he, again, yeah, he should be clear or like transparent or something. Graphic limitations. I don't know about that.
That might be it. That's what I was thinking, actually. I was like, maybe just graphically it would have been hard to create like this semi-clear, translucent, beautiful-looking diamond dwarf that you can kind of see through at all times. That would have been kind of hard for them to do.
Dude, I don't know about that.
Diamond is the most ordered version of carbon? Yes. Yes, also true, DK Myth. Kind of a good point. That is true, yeah. I mean, what is diamond? It's hyper, under extreme pressures, hyper-ordered, crushed into basically perfectly linear, everything's lined up perfectly, and you get this nice diamond. Yeah, so kind of true. That's a good point that I think he would have liked to hear if you were in his chat that day. Yeah, the most orderly thing indeed. Speculation is fun, but inevitably mood. Yeah, I mean, there's been times where it's been right, and there's been times where it's been severely wrong. But it is fun to speculate. I will say the whole Infinity Stone stuff that he was talking about, that seemed actually quite accurate. That it relates to each Titan and what they are and how kind of their personalities work, and how Azeroth is truly the balancer, the encompassing of all things, right? She is the balancer of all forces, and that's why she's so important to everybody. But we'll have to wait and see how these theories pan out.